Today we're going to look at the walking purchase, which is something closer to home, actually only happened 2 counties away, but it shows how the English of Pennsylvania had treated the Native Americans and how they tricked them out of land. To start off, let's look at different methods that they had of tricking them out of land. The Europeans are the ones who introduced alcohol to America. The natives had never had this alcohol, and therefore they enjoyed it. They figured out what it was like to get drunk. So the English would get them drunk, and they would make these different decisions that they weren't the most clear-minded to make. Another method was the Dutch came over, and they would say, okay, let's trade land, and we're going to give you money for the land of the size of the hide of a bullock. Now, if I lay a bullock hide down, it would kind of look like a carpet and be something like this. I mean, it'd be a lot bigger, obviously, but it would look something like this, so you get the idea. All right? And the Indians are thinking, okay, yeah, it's going to be like a carpet. They're just going to take the size of that carpet, and they can have that land. However, the natives decided to be little smart alecks, and what they did is they would cut, not the natives, the Dutch were smart alecks, and they cut the hide into strips. Not bad. They'd cut these strips, and then they would take the strips, and they would lay them out in a circle. So that, just those 3 strips that I laid down, could cover a whole lot more land. And then they would make a big old circle out of this, and say, well, you said the size of the bullock hide, and this has just covered everything up, and therefore they got more land from the natives. Natives, being fair people, figured they've made their decision, they made their choice, alright, this was the agreement we made, we're going to have to honor it. So therefore, that is how a lot of Europeans tricked them out of land. Now, William Penn, he was usually more peaceful with them, and he was all for not making war because he was a Quaker. He also believed in religious freedom, because that's why he came to this country. So he tried to make peace with the Indians, and the Indians had a lot of respect for him. Now, William's son, Thomas Penn, however, was not the same. The natives expected, fair treatment from him as well, but the governor of this colony was not so equal. There was a land dispute from the land that was sold in 1696 and 1697. Indians said it wasn't sold. They didn't have anything to do with that. But Governor Penn showed them these papers. So he produces this paper that had the quote-unquote Indian signatures proving the sale. These Indians never lived on that land, and most likelihood today, looking back on those papers, it was probably Governor Penn who had signed them, trying to fake it to look like Indian papers. And because the Indians did not really fall for it and didn't agree, they decided they were going to do a walking purchase.